has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Open your eyes.
Take a moment to open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
The look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up.
Open your eyes.
You're listening to Apostate Awake, the podcast, available on YouTube, iTunes and Stitcher. I'm Mr Watchtower, your host. You can follow me at Apostate Awake, and if you enjoy what you hear, consider becoming a patron of the show by visiting patreon.com/Apostate Awake and give as little as $1. Episode 1. There was one that was badly edited because we did it about Noah and what would happen if the flood was a thing and how scientifically it couldn't happen. And because I thought it was part that didn't record, so we re-recorded. There was actually two sections, as if you're like mentally retarded. There's two separate sections in which you go, but then everything would be all right under the sea, wouldn't it? And it's like only 20 minutes after I'd just explained why most things in the sea would have probably died. And I just thought that's a bad edit move, but
gosh, thanks for that. I know since you've done that about me and not about you.
Yeah, well, I don't make mistakes.
I'm
flawless. Like the Pope. I'm infallible like the Pope.
You're in something.
So, episode 1 of Apostate Awake, the podcast.
Yes.
Formerly the Watchtower and Awakening podcast.
Gosh.
But there's a few reasons why I've decided to sort of mix it up and rebrand and change. Mostly because when I was this is like
little girl.
When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll. This is going to be like that musical episode, when we
Yes.
I can't remember what we
did
started singing 2 by 2. Shit, I've lost track.
Because rebranding.
All right, okay. Before I go through the rebranding, right? It's episode 1. So, if I just briefly introduce myself as Mr Watchtower, it's obviously not my real name, but it's just something that organically grew from our other co-host, Norris, who, oddly enough, isn't called Norris either, but that's just what we call him.
What?
That's the name he wanted to go by.
I call him Norris.
Because he loves Norris McGuirter.
Who doesn't?
And my co-host is Bonaventure.
Bonaventure.
Hi,
she
Bonaventure.
sounds lovely. Hi.
She does sound lovely.
She isn't.
But I was just about to say, but the audience can't see her.
Oh, God.
It's all right. Nobody's wearing pants here. Bonaventure.
Yes, darling.
I'm called Mr Watchtower because of my background.
Yes.
My background is I was a Jehovah's Witness.
You were not.
And the Jehovah's Witnesses have their lives ruled by the Watchtower Tract and Bible Society. So the original name of the Watchtower and Awakening was a bit of a play on the Watchtower and Awake magazines. So like when I decided I was going to be a little bit activist, I created a website called watchtower&awakening.com, which it does kind of exist, but I haven't sort of paid for it to continue, just simply because I kind of like outgrew it and started doing different things and wanting to podcast. Originally, I didn't want to podcast and I didn't want to YouTube because I didn't really want anybody to know who I was, but now I've sort of figured out I can just do it without telling people who I am.
I know who you are. Does that make this awkward?
That doesn't matter. No.
Okay, good.
I'm mostly what's the word? I'm mostly anonymous, basically just to stop my mum and dad from getting a lot of grief from the other Jehovah's Witnesses in their life. There's no real proof that it's me.
I know it's you.
You know it's me.
Okay.
And you are co-host Bonaventure. Why do I call you Bonaventure?
You call me Bonaventure because my confirmation name from my Catholic upbringing was Bonaventure. And the reason I chose Bonaventure was because I didn't want to choose Mary or John or Peter like everybody else. So I kind of just went all out to annoy the priest, which I did, and chose Bonaventure.
Yeah.
I just thought, it trips right off the tongue.
Yeah.
And that's why you call it me. I mean, you call me other things, but we can't say them.
I do, but I know we can because I've booked this down on iTunes where this will be available down as explicit. So
good.
We're allowed to say whatever the fuck we want.
On a Tuesday. Oh no, it's a
it's actually Saturday, isn't it?
Is.
Saturday.
I think I wanted to say Sunday, and then I was like, oh gosh.
It's Saturday. So is it the 2nd today?
I think it might might just be.
It's the 2nd of April, which means yesterday was April Fool's Day.
It was.
A couple of things
Did you
happened
fool
on April
anyone?
Fool's. No, I didn't fool anybody because I'm not a fool.
Respectfully disagree.
I didn't even realise it was actually April Fool's Day.
Oh.
I got lured in.
Which is weird because it's your special day.
How dare you? I'm coming to that actually. Two things. I'll start with the first one was you know Anonymous, the sort of brand Anonymous.
Indeed.
Their Twitter account got hacked, and I didn't realise it was April Fool's. So I was just like, oh my god, somebody's hacked Anonymous, and they were trying to like battle to get their Twitter account back.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, just an April Fool's, guys. No one's hacking us. What up? And I was just like, oh, April Fool's, can't believe it. But then the other thing that drew my attention to April Fool's Day was that. Take That Darwin, who has been on. I've interviewed him as part of the previous Watchtower and Awakening podcast, which was episode 13. Yeah, episode 13. Take That Darwin was retweeting many people that were basically sort of rebranding April Fool's Day as Happy Atheist Day because of the scripture that says, "The fool hath said in his heart that there is no God."
What?
So
Is that the April Fool?
yeah,
not.
I think the April Fool to me was that I don't really care what it says in the Bible because there's no proof of God's existence.
Oh, okay.
But it just seems pretty funny to me that whole thing was. It wasn't just like, it wasn't like a randomer that said that, like, oh come on guys, this is going to be hilarious. It was tweeting person after person. You know, hundreds of people were just saying Happy Atheist Day because the fool hath said in his heart that there is no God, and it's a bit weird. But does that mean that they get the other 364 days to be fools while we laugh at them?
Yes, and they do, and we do, and that makes it more exciting, yes?
I forget exactly what... I don't want to break continuity by having a search for it, but I forget what comes exactly after that scripture, but it's something along the lines of... I think the exact words are, "There are none that do good," referring to atheists. So it starts off with, "The fool has said in his heart that there is no God." Then it says something about like they do wicked works or something, and it says, "There are none that do good." So people trying to draw attention to that as a scripture, like, "Ha, fools, atheists." But you can just denounce that whole section by just saying, "I'm pretty sure there's some atheists that do some good, and I'm one of them simply by just putting a bit of money in a charity tin or something."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
How many times do we say that you're considering that as like a normal behaviour? They're considering being good as going to church. Just like my grandma did. "Oh, I wish you were all much better people by going to church," even though none of us have any kind... we all have good jobs. She had 15 grandchildren. We all have good jobs. We've all got our own houses, cars, not one of us has got a drug problem or been pregnant under the age of 16 And she was just like, "I know, but I just wish you'd go to church." Like, that would be our saviour. Just think, wouldn't you just be happy that your grandchildren aren't smackheads? Shut your
Well, I mean,
gosh.
Originally I said we should sit down just for a quick chat for the episode 1 because it's not really a proper episode. It's more me just sort of stating what's going to be happening in the future.
Half an hour, to be fair.
Yeah, but I'll edit it down a little.
Okay. Gosh.
But with that in mind, I knew we'd end up having a conversation about something or other. With that in mind, in our establishment of work, there is one of our colleagues, a young female, and she has a young son, and she said to me the other week that she said that she was wanting to take him to church, and that's when my ears pricked up because me and her have never had the conversation about religion because it's just never come up because we haven't had that much time to speak to one another. And she was basically saying, "Oh, I feel like I feel like I'm like not doing my duty like as a good mum. Like I feel like I need to take him to church at least on the Sundays while he's young, so he gets that kind of a background." And
I have to ask you to stop talking, please.
Why?
Because that's not a real thing.
It's a real.
It's not.
This was a factual thing that happened in real life in our establishment of work.
No, I know who you're talking about as well, which makes it even more worrying.
Yeah, because she actually seems all right. Like like there's no.
But like she thinks that she's doing her child a disservice by not taking them to church.
Yeah, I mean, I hasten to add that she was doing it with a bit of a glint in her eye, she was sort of admitting that there was absolutely no basis for this.
Yeah, absolutely. There's I want them to be religious.
Yeah. She doesn't really believe in anything. She's not particularly religious. It's just that I think what she means by that is the same sort of thing by like the same sort of thing I've heard by people that have emigrated somewhere and they worry about the children growing up with a different accent than them, because they feel like they're not quite the same as them. And I think she just meant that her memories of being younger is going to church on a Sunday, or at least being there for any of the festivals or christenings and all that kind of stuff. So I think she just thought that if he didn't know what church was and had never been through the doors until there was just like births, deaths and marriages, he won't have had the same background as her, and she felt like she was somehow doing him a disservice by not having that same kind of background.
Gosh.
And my first question was like, do you want him to go like, because like, is it a religious thing? Do you want him to be religious? And she's like, it's not that. It's just like, it just feels like I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to be doing.
She seems smart.
It's crazy though, isn't it?
It is.
That sort of encapsulates a lot of what religion is for people, isn't it? Like it's that cultural Christendom, isn't it? Where they like she feels like she's not doing something as a mum, but if she's educating him, feeding him, clothing him, doing the right things.
But we also know, like we talk about my brother, who takes his children to church to get them into school, and there is no relevant. They are not religious. They have no interest in going to church. They go to church to get them christened so that they can go to the good school.
Yeah, and I have to be honest, I haven't really met many Catholics that.
And they
have done it for any other reason.
They happily have good old arguments about, you go to church with, no, I'm not, right, well, we're all going, or none of us are going, because none of them want to go, but they want their children in a good school. Yeah. And it's mind-blowing to me, but I also understand it. Because I know where they live, and there's good
It's
schools,
hard to argue against it when you're talking about your kids' education,
and I would want them, I would do my bit to take them to church to make sure that the boys got the best school they could, and unfortunately it is the Catholic school. And he's already going to the preschool, the older one's already going to the preschool, and he loves it. He comes home with this and that and a sunflower, and it's not religious based, but they have had to take them to church to make sure that they can get into that school. And I get it, I really get it, and I hate to get it, but I get it. But they're not religious. They don't talk about God. They don't. There's nothing in the house that's really. There's nothing. It is purely school related, and they're looking to get the little one christened soon, and so that they can go to school. It's crazy, but I get it.
That links me to the other co-host who isn't here, which is Norris. So obviously, my background, Jehovah's Witness. Your background was Catholicism, and Norris's background is also Catholicism, but a little bit more intensively, because his father was actually training to be a Catholic priest, and he only stopped 1 year shy of the actually sort of being fully fledged priest. So I think he did. I think it was maybe 4 years, and obviously heavily into the church.
5 years to train to be a priest?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow,
it's quite a long time. I think you do it. It's almost like like when you get to be like a junior doctor and things like that. You will do like priest duties and all that, but he was in his final year of like just having his own parish, I guess. And then he just had second thoughts. He didn't know whether he wanted to commit to it full time and everything. And at that time he met Norris's mum, and Norris's mum was actually also a Catholic nun who was working in places like Bolivia and stuff like that, doing like charitable works. And she came home to look after a sick relative, and during that time she met his dad, and then they sort of they got together, and then they had 3 boys. The rest is history. Norris is now here. But the reason I was just thinking about Norris was that when you said about getting your kids into school and stuff, Norris is exactly the same. He has 2 young girls, and they go to a Catholic school, and obviously all of his family are Catholic, so it kind of makes sense to him to just sort of carry on that tradition, despite him being in no way, shape or form particularly religious. He does still attend church every now and then, if there's a function or whatever, and he always explains that he sees like the sort of the grip of the people in the congregation who kind of they want to hold on to him, because he's a young is a young married man. So the future
of the church.
The young married couple with 2 young daughters. Articulate, intelligent, brilliant. So as far as the congregation would be looking for, that they would be great. But we've had this conversation quite a few times about what do you do? Do you sacrifice their level of education for your standpoint on a particular sort of theological issue? Because they could end up being outright Catholics and regretting that they were never put through the Catholic school system.
But what we know about the education system, the answer to that is no. Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's right.
And End of discussion.
The answer is
Yes, the answer is no. Next.
I think that's just a whole podcast on its own, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
And
It'd be interesting to get my brother Joshua, also his confirmation name, to have that conversation with him, because I think you'd just find he'd just be like, yeah, no, I don't have no interest.
Ooh, ah.
Joshua. You know what I mean? And I think he'd be, yeah, I don't have no interest in it, don't believe it, don't do that, but it's happening. The boys are going.
There was
they need to see,
there was a Daily Mash article. If anybody doesn't know what the Daily Mash is, it's just it's like a piss take news networks type thing, like the Onion News Network. I'll link it. I'll link it at the bottom of this on the YouTube version of this. I didn't actually mention Stitcher either. This will be available on iTunes and Stitcher. If you're already subscribed to Watchtower and Awakening, you'll realise that you've already got this in your Dropbox or whatever, because the actual link remains the same. I've just changed the name. Okay. But yeah, if you're listening to this on YouTube, then
Stitcher, like an old ladies sewing group.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
There'd be Stitchers. This is just Stitcher.
Oh, okay. So just
like,
one lady.
like live streaming radio type stuff.
Oh, I see. So.
Yeah, so in YouTube, I'll link the Daily Mash article. But the Daily Mash article was basically saying that that thousands of people all over the country are getting ready at Easter, and they were making it out like they're saying that people are gonna enjoy the Easter sort of celebrations, but what it was actually saying was that all the parishioners were sort of getting ready to be two-faced about all these people that suddenly flood the parishes, and you know, like they're all like in it. Look at us all those Christians in it together, while the ones that actually turn up week in week out are just like the blood's boiling, because they're just like, oh, look at these part-time Christians.
You know how much I love Christmas.
Yeah.
And also Easter. But I love Christmas because it's all about family. We've been through this, haven't we? I love Christmas because it's all about family and seeing the kids and all of that. That's brilliant. Yeah. And I love Easter. It's like my favourite time of the year, and it's just because of mini eggs. And I don't care whatever happened all them years ago. Whoever created mini eggs, they're just the greatest person in the world. So thank you, Jesus, for mini eggs.
Yeah, Jesus created mini eggs.
Yeah.
I heard that Jesus had sex with the Easter Bunny,
right?
And he laid the egg.
Was that like Mary Magdalene doing what Turtle does in Entourage when Turtle dresses up as a bunny? So Mary Magdalene's like dressed up as a bunny, and he's like he shags her from behind. And then they create little mini eggs.
Jesus,
and that proves Jesus was black. Yeah. Boom. Now,
because
folks,
he produced a small chocolate baby.
Yes. Mini eggs. Oh my god! I think I just solved the mystery.
Yeah, I think.
Why did your face just pull?
I think that's.
Your whole eyes went bug-eyed.
I know, because I just thought, wow, that's got to be animated somehow.
That's like mind-blowing.
Jesus getting Mary Magdalene to dress up like the Easter Bunny because he gets excited by his own holiday. Yeah. And he
hump.
And because he's really
little mini eggs.
Because he's really pagan and that he wants.
Like Sticky Vicky, where she pops ping pongs out, but she pops mini eggs out.
Yeah. That'd make a good advert, wouldn't it? The how do you eat yours?
And Jesus is just like, That was Jesus swallowing, by the way. I'm quite chuffed with that. I feel like I've really created something.
I think you've really
solved the mystery of Jesus.
You've really contributed to Easter celebrations.
Yes.
We'll have to remember that for next time.
We will.
Next Easter.
I love Easter. I mean, eggs, they're the best.
I don't dislike mini eggs, but I don't crave them either. But I'm not that sweet toothed a guy, you know.
No, you're not. That's true. But I'm not sweet toothed. But mini eggs, I know this is creepy, but even just smelling them turns me on. Gosh.
Wow.
It's not my proudest thing I've ever contributed.
Just smell, but don't they just smell like chocolate? So you could just sniff any old chocolate?
No.
Why do they smell different?
Because they've got the outer coating and it's like sugary and
right.
It's the smell of it. It's everything. Like I could happily smell mini eggs and I'm all right with that.
Right.
I feel like we've just taken a step back in our
friendship.
I think we should see other people get out.
Yeah. I'll just put in like a sound.
Anyone else on the mini eggs, or is it just me?
I'll just put like a sound effect of like a door going, and then that's it. I'll edit every part of your audio out from now and just like. So that's been the first episode of Apostate.
Bonaventure couldn't join us today. Spending some time with a mini eggs.
It's just going to be Norris from now on. While you sniff mini eggs at home, you freak.
Oh gosh, I've got some in my bag actually.
Yeah, so this was supposed to be short. It's gonna be short because if you've been listening so far to the previous episodes, like they go from anywhere between like 45 minutes and like 2 hours.
That depends on how much we've drunk.
Yeah, and it also depends on Norris, to be fair, because you're a little more concise than Norris.
Oh, thanks.
And Norris just sort of he wants to throw out like 14 different things for us to discuss, which is great when it's just me and him having a chat.
Yeah.
But in a podcast format, I'm going to try my best. Well, in future episodes, maybe not in this one, but I'm going to try my best to sort of stick with a theme and run with it.
That's not going to happen with Norris.
Right?
That's not going to happen with Norris. We both know it.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to write him a little script or something, or I'll hold up like cue cards.
I'll hold a foam finger, just straight to his mouth.
Yeah, I'll hold a foam finger like under the desk, and then while
That's not your finger.
the audience wouldn't be able to see it, but like while he's talking, I'll just pull out this big foam finger and put it on his lips so that he knows.
I like that. Do
the
it.
big foam finger. Maybe I could. Maybe I might be able to sort some merchandise out. Some big Mr Watchtower foam fingers.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Anyway.
Gosh. What else have you got in your notes? Refer to the purple pen of progress.
Oh dear.
Gosh. Everything's written in purple.
Okay, so right, I've explained briefly why I've changed the name and stuff. We've evolved.
Yeah.
But
Evolution, people.
What's
it's out there. It's real.
We've evolved like everything else on the planet that's
Moving
alive. No matter what Ken Ham says. That's got to be one on it. We've got to do a Ken Ham episode. Anyway,
so why they're still monkeys?
And like,
you're my idol, Daddy. I love you, baby girl. Sorry, it's not
and
funny.
like, how did sloths make it all the way to the Ark when they can only crawl like 6 feet in like a minute, and they're only awake for like 4 hours of a day?
And like, when Noah loaded on the lions, why were the 2 male lions?
Yeah, we saw that picture, didn't we? Like showing 2 male lions.
I love it.
The animals went 2 by 2.
Two maned lions.
You're against homosexuality, and you're getting 2 male lions.
But the lions still managed to move on. Maybe they surrogated.
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 Is that a thing?
It is not a word. You're welcome. You can use it.
Maybe they
got a surrogate.
But they'd need a female.
Oh, maybe they found Simba. Maybe
Who is male.
Oh, shit. Oh gosh, Nolan. Yes. Oh gosh, that wasn't as good as Mary and the Mary and her mini eggs.
So I guess the main thing would be what's going to be different about Apostate Awake as opposed to the Watchtower and Awakening podcast.
What is going to be different about Apostate?
There's not going to be a great deal different as far as the podcast is concerned, because the podcast is just going to be.
That's a shame. You could have really done to spice this up.
Oh, well, I am going to, but I'll explain how. Okay. But I mean,
I could sing some songs for you.
You could, yeah.
Oh gosh.
But I'm not going to ask you to do that. It depends, though. It depends on what we need.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know some lovely songs.
You can break out into song if you want, or you can wait till I've got my guitar ready.
Okay. I know some good hymns as well. I know some good hymns as well.
Do you?
Yes, from my Catholic.
Yeah, that's a funny thing because when I've been into churches for whatever's been going on, you know the part where the priest will say something and then the audience.
Yes, the audience, the congregation.
Yeah, the congregation in so all in like monotone will sort of say whatever
like
it is that they have to say back, like a cult.
Please be with you, and also with you. Yeah.
And when I've been in those situations,
why have we never done this? Like Catholic church.
We've been actually one of our previous episodes. If you want to have a look it up, we did actually go through our visit to Austin Stone Mega Church. So we have been to our church.
We should go to Catholic church.
We should go to Catholic church.
And I should really overdo it on the holiness and see what your reaction is.
Yeah.
Like full on, not lie down, kneel down, and like do the whole.
Yeah, because that's not part of my thing. Like
that.
there was obviously like the amens and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like when I've been in churches with friends, when they've like looked at me like how do you not know what to do? Because I'm like, what's happening now? Why are they queuing up there? Why did they say that thing?
What for? Do we get free
mini
eggs?
How does everybody? Yeah, just throwing out mini eggs the Easter Sunday.
I'd go if you did that. I'd be like, hell Yeah. I'll believe whatever you tell me for about M&S.
I'm just confused by the whole thing,
boys,
but I guess that would only be the same as if you came to like a Jehovah's Witness church, which is actually called the Kingdom Hall. If we turned up there, you wouldn't have any idea what was going on. But there's not actually as much. There's not as much participation from the congregation.
Yeah.
Well, no, sorry. There's a lot of audience participation, but it's mostly in the form of like question and answers and things like that.
So it's not like a fully fledged. It's like a performance being at a Catholic church. We should totally do that on Sunday.
Yeah, like
we should get dressed up and do it like real nice,
suited and booted,
yes.
so that we give the illusion of being respectable.
Really holy.
Yes.
And when we talk to people, we should say God bless, but like do it really seriously.
Yeah. And maybe you could curtsy in front of the priest, because doesn't the priest usually go to the doors to sort of
when I'm there,
say the not your doors, the doors.
Oh, not my front or back doors. No, yeah. Yes, he does at the end. Yes, he does.
Let's try that.
We should do that. Let's do
maybe,
that.
I could maybe like record some audio from my pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got something in my pocket for you.
From pocket. I've got something in my front pocket for you. Anyway.
Sidetracked.
So yeah, let's do that for a future episode. We'll get some audio and stuff.
Okay.
In the future episodes, previously in the Watchtower&Awakening, we've had some guests. We had religious tourists. We had Take That Darwin.
We did.
These guys can be found on Twitter.
Yep.
At Take That Darwin, at religious tourist. We also had Jen August on as well. She's like a sort of like her dad's a secular Jew and her mum's a Catholic. Yep. Religious tourist went around like different religions for a year, and he's writing a book about it currently. Yep. Take That Darwin, he just sort of retweets all kinds of like crazy people that are still asking, and like, if we came from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Slam. Yeah. They've all been on the show before, and I know for a fact that at least Jen August is going to come back because I've asked her personally. I haven't asked Take That Darwin or Religious Tourist, but I will ask them in the future. Yeah. Jen August will be back on because I've actually had a book sent to me that was written by Chris Minski. Mm-hmm. Chris Minski is a co-host of You Without God podcast, and he's obviously an author because he wrote this book. It's not his first book. I think it's his third, fourth book maybe. So I'm going to try and get Jen and Chris both on the show after I've finished reading the book so that we can discuss her book. Take That Darwin, obviously. We'll get him on again because he's always good for a laugh. Absolutely. And every time Evolution comes up, it'll be worth trying to grab him on. We've got Alyssa has agreed to be on the show, who is at Poor Old Kilgore, who is known for her sort of secular views as well as her breasts.
Gosh, good for her.
Yeah. There is at Finch Lydia, but I'm pretty sure she's called Lydia Finch, former Jehovah's Witness. She's going to be coming on the show. There's Harley at Secular Lad. I've been conversing with Harley here and there via Twitter and stuff. He sent me an email actually a little while ago about which was like a breakdown of a conversation that he had with one of his family members. As far as I'm aware, which we'll get to when I speak to him on the show, he actually still lives in his mum and dad's household, and they are Jehovah's Witnesses. Yep. So he hasn't really yet done anything that warrants him being kicked out for good. Okay. Not from the house, I mean from the Jehovah's Witness sort of religion. But I just want to see how that whole scenario works for him and how his life is going in that kind of a scenario. Yeah. Lydia Finch is separate, like she's a little older, she's got children, all that kind of stuff. And someone who's agreed to come on the show actually, which will be pretty good, he might actually be on the very next show because I'm trying to sort this out with him as we speak, is Lloyd Evans, who is at Seder's JW Survey, and he's actually the creator of jwsurvey.org. Okay. So he's a former Jehovah's Witness, but he was like heavily into it, as was his wife. I'm pretty sure he was an elder, which is like, he was getting up there. He does a whole vlog series as well as having the website and stuff where current and former Jehovah's Witnesses can fill out surveys on jwsurvey.org. Yeah. And Lloyd does this vlog where he goes through what the Jehovah's Witnesses are broadcasting via the website, as well as showing leaked documents, because there's quite a few people who are still currently Jehovah's Witnesses who haven't plucked up the courage to yet leave, and they sort of feed him information. One of his recent ones was a document that had been given to all the circuit overseers, and the circuit overseers are basically like, it goes like through like the parishioners, and then what do they call them? what's the name of it? There's parishioners, then there's ministerial servants, then it goes up to like elders, and then they have like a circuit overseer kind of looks after the sort of branches of elders that look after the congregations. So they're quite high up, and a circuit overseer that's like a bit dismayed with how things are going. It leaked a document to Lloyd, and he's done a bit of a video about it. Lloyd has also, which is what I really want to talk to him about, is he's recently done a documentary that is about the Watchtower and Bonaventure Society's views on child abuse, and it's very similar to the whole Catholic thing. Maybe the scandal isn't quite as big, but that's only really due to numbers. But the actual policies, which I'll get into.
It hasn't been a lot in the news, has it, either? You know, I know it's not on a grand old scale. I mean, I'm sure it is. But it's not as big as the Catholic. But it's not been as well publicised at all.
No, it hasn't. Which is part. That's part and parcel of the broadcast that he's doing. I think a lot of people, they just don't really know a great deal about it, so they don't really get into it.
Yes.
And it maybe doesn't really garner as much of an audience. So like larger news networks and stuff might not get into it. There was a Horizon episode quite a while ago, maybe like 15 or 20 years ago, when this thing first came to light. But it's not so much about whether or not people are abusing their powers of trust with children. It's more about the actual Jehovah's Witnesses policies, which is similar to the Catholic Church, which is they yet again in this leaked document that's gone to Lloyd Evans, they've yet again not. They've yet again told the circuit overseers not to go straight to the authorities, but to inform them. And there's various ways and means that they're trying to sort of like nullify the broader kind of you know it's a bit.
It's quite frightening the control they have, isn't it? Which is pretty much what we say about everything, but it is quite frightening the micro management that they try to do.
Yeah.
Micromanagement's frightening on any scale.
And I think Lloyd will be the person to talk to about that, because people speak to me and they ask me many things about the Jehovah's Witness organisation. And as much as I'm happy to have any conversation that comes my way, the reason I want to speak to people like Lydia and like Harley, secular lad, and Lloyd is because they've been in it, but they've been in it in slightly different ways as to what I have. Yeah. And because I never experienced it as an adult, I left just before my 16th birthday, and then we've got Harley that's quite young.
You consider yourself an adult?
Well, I try.
Okay, good.
I'm an adult, but I'm not mature. I can do that, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're all in different ways. So I've got there will obviously be more guests than that, but those are just the people that I've spoken to and are going to be on the show. But
looking forward to it.
That will be in the upcoming episodes. Besides that, one of the reasons I've rebranded is to be a little bit more sort of YouTube based as well. So I'm going to be doing some sort of short series type things and a few public service announcements and stuff. And so if you listen to this on iTunes or Stitcher, feel free to go over to YouTube /Apostate Awake. If you want to follow me, it's at Apostate Awake. You can't really follow Bonaventure because we don't have a Bonaventure Twitter account.
We do not.
But supposing we garnered enough support, I could bully her into doing that. So besides that, hopefully it'll be Lloyd next time. I'll get on with that, and we'll try and sort that out within the next week or two.
Lloyd!
Like Lloyd Christmas. So that's Apostate Awake.
Hearing from you, Lloyd.
Episode 1. Look forward to episode 2 soon with a substantial interview.
Woo-hoo.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Open your eyes.
Take a moment to open your eyes.
Open your eyes.
The look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to